Hello, it's Richard Wilson, and this is a short video on what an institutional investment consultant is. I'm here in Singapore today, and I had a phone call with someone a couple of weeks ago where we were talking about different channels of investors to approach, and while mentioning institutional investment consultants, they didn't know what I was talking about, so I thought this would be a helpful video for you to watch if you also don't know what an investment consultant is. So an institutional investment consultant is someone who's hired as an expert in investment opportunities or investment funds typically to analyze these funds and help institutional investors choose what to invest in. So part of their job is keeping tabs and keeping track of a whole universe of investment managers, say 7,000 different hedge funds or 20,000 different long-only managers who offer SMAs and mutual funds and ETFs or hedge funds and fund of funds. And part of their job is typically to fit in investment funds within an existing portfolio, or an institutional investment consultant might help manage the whole portfolio of an investor. There's two different ways that an institutional investment consultant works with their clients. Typically it's discretionary or non-discretionary. Discretionary means they have pretty much full power over deciding what types of investments or which investment fund managers will fit the types of investments their investor wants. So they basically have control, almost total control over the portfolio. The other type of service is where they have non-discretionary, where say a family office, a big wealth management firm, or a pension fund or endowment fund will hire the consultant and say, we want you to do a whole bunch of research for us and then come present your top 3 recommendations, and then we will make the final decision. Or come make your recommendations and we'll see what research we came up with and see whose choices we like better. So basically an institutional investment consultant is a hub of institutional investors, because if you have a great relationship with a consultant and they love you and they like everything about your fund, then oftentimes they can put you in front of hundreds, if not thousands, of institutional investors. Now it sounds great until I tell you the next part, that typically they only like to work with, or they only like to recommend funds which have 5, 7, or more years of a track record, and they only like to work with funds that have $100 million or more in assets. I've learned the hard way that it's a waste of time oftentimes to call them and try to schedule phone interviews until you have something close to 50, 75 million, 80 million, at least close to 100 million. There are some exceptions. There's some investment consultants that work with emerging managers. There's some institutional investors that have small kind of satellite portfolios to emerging manager exposure, but those are really the exception and not the rule. So I'd really recommend backing away from approaching these types of investors until your fund is a decent size. So I hope you enjoyed this short video on what an institutional investment consultant is. I hope you found it useful. Thanks for joining me.